I'm really curious to get your thoughts on how you see the role of a business development person changing in the data center operator space with a 2, 3, 4 year time horizon out from now. If you look into your crystal ball, do you envision much change in what you do on a daily, weekly basis over the next 2, 3, 4 years? Or do you see a lot of similar kinds of activities, a lot of interest, similar kinds of time investments, a lot of similar kinds of interactions?
Yeah, certainly the way the role is developing is one needs to dive into macroeconomic trends in a much broader level and much broader scope. The business, the industry, the world that we work in is forged by global developments, global environments. On the regulatory front, on the licensing front, on the legislative front. So it's becoming very important and more important to broaden an outlook to at least a 3-5 year horizon. It's difficult enough sometimes in the industry to plan 3 to 6 months ahead, but at the same time, you need to be able to do both and be able to have a longer term outlook and understand the dynamics of what's happening in other markets, the forces of globalization that are being driven by technology and by user behavior versus the forces of nationalism and data sovereignty, for instance, are very important key focus areas, and that we need to understand how they're likely to play out in our relevant territory and how it's likely to affect our customers' business and our customers' behavior, and we need to be ready for that. So for some of our areas, we need partnerships and globalization in terms of disaster recovery or bigger geographical footprints. In other areas, we need to be able to guarantee data sovereignty for certain of our customers in certain markets, So all these elements form very, very important aspects of constantly reviewing and adjusting our strategy in the sales, business development, as well operations and data center planning environments.
Yeah, and the more you talk through this, the more it comes super into focus that the reality is you're more of a consultant to prospects and clients than someone that's just focused on getting a agreement signed, because there's so many different variables that are involved depending on where they're located, depending on where their clients are located, depending on sovereignty issues, regulatory issues, current needs, future needs, timeline. And without having that mindset of seeing each of these opportunities as unique and not only needing to figure out what they truly need, but build relationships with multiple stakeholders and get alignment and make sure everyone's on the same page and understand their decision-making process. It's a lot. I think a lot of times people underestimate the complexity of being in a sales-related role in this space. And and just when you think you have it figured out, new angles, new changes come along that force you to rethink and revise and regroup. So yes, it's been really, really helpful. I know that a lot of people, both throughout Africa and globally, that watch this podcast, especially in business development, sales development, account executive roles, are going to get an enormous amount of value from what you shared with me here today, Eckart. I really, really appreciate it.